See Wrestling Constellation semifinals here at Mat 1. We ramp up further.
Here we got Chirstian Knop from NC State, who I've spent a tremendous amount of time around. Wrestled with him, trained with him quite a bit. Great wrestler, an even better person.
Knop and Smith at 197.
Little boot scoot attempt there by Knop. Representing Alabama, his home state.
More hand fighting, trying to gauge that distance as well.
Yep. Little post high crotch attempt there from Knop. Andy Smith looks like he's trying to hang on the head quite a bit, be real heavy on Knop. And, you know, that's a tactic that some guys like to approach matches with as well. Wear on them as much as you can in the first period, and hopefully that plays a role and allows you to create opportunities later in the match.
If you can wear somebody out in that first round, that first portion of the match so far, how important is that when you get to the third, when it comes to not only the physical aspect, but the mental aspects too?
I think it's super important, you know, because guys who get worn down, their position starts to suffer. They don't fight defensively as long or as hard. And so a shot that you might have taken in the first period that wasn't close to finishing, you take that same exact shot in the third period, might be a really easy finish. And sometimes if you're able to wear guys down and just trust the strategy where I'm going to come out aggressive, I'm going to hang on the head for a majority of the first period, maybe it's a really low-scoring first period, but if you continue to do that throughout the match, come third period, you might put up bonus point numbers. You know, you could win a match by 8 to 10, maybe even 15 points just because the guy's gotten so fatigued and tired that the points start to come easy.
We talked about fatigue throughout our broadcast or telecast today. Just such a big factor, especially when you have to empty the tank like you do in the Constellation semifinals.
Right, and these guys are doing a great job. I see a lot of great overtie snaps from Knop here too. But Smith is doing a great job being very persistent with that right-hand collar tie. And he's been keeping that elbow down, and there he goes with the overtie snap of his own. Back to the collar tie. Overtie snap attempt I think we'll see from Smith. Chirstian Knop here on the inside now. I bet you will see Andy fight. I'd like to see a shot attempt from Smith here. I think Knop's the one who's taken more of the opportunities and chances here. Obviously, they haven't been very close, but I think, you know, being the aggressor is important. I think that's how you put yourself in a position to win the match.
Final seconds. And we'll see who goes with the continued state of aggression in the second. And now they start down. Big round of applause for Mat 2. And Church, Charlie Darricott on that mat.
How quickly Knop gets out on bottom is going to be important here. And he can't get flattened out. He's got to do his best to not get flat. He's got to keep his base here. So he's working really, really hard. He gets up to his feet very, very quickly. And boom, turn and face. Really good job finding his escape.
What's the ideal amount of time when you say quick? If you want to get out of it lightning fast or very quickly, what's that amount of time frame to you?
You know, if it's anything under 10 seconds, that's quick. I personally think. I think that's a great amount of time. I think if you can get out under 10 seconds, that's ideal. Almost really, really interesting opportunity there by Knop. Looked like he was behind, had control of the hips, up on the feet, but wasn't able to get to a lock or get Andy down.
Up with that 1-0 advantage.
Knop looks like he was controlling the center there for a moment, but now Andy Smith is back to center.
Control the center, went for a low.
Man, Smith is doing a really good job just hanging on the head and being real heavy. He's got an underhook now, and if you see that little tiny detail, if you notice, he's keeping Knop's head covered with his chest and with his head, and that makes things really, really difficult for Knop, who's trying to get his head to find space so he can get back up and out from underneath Smith. But Smith was doing a great job being stingy He had the underhook. He had the head and chest covered with his chest and his head. And sometimes that's another way to wear your opponent down.
That's a lot of weight to have on a pretty important part, the head and neck area.
Absolutely. And if you're able to do that consistently, if he could get to that position multiple times this match, I think that would wear on anybody, to be honest. But Knop is doing a great job just making sure he's being very, very diligent about fighting back inside and getting to control ties of his own.
1-0 advantage for Knop. Two more minutes. Could not bring it home, or can Smith rally back? He's able to get out of it. That was in about 6 seconds. That was pretty quick.
That's pretty quick. That makes a huge difference, like I said, because it gives you a lot of time to work on your feet. Especially, let's change the situation. Let's say one of these guys is down and you need a takedown to win the match. And maybe the other guy's got riding time. Maybe he rode you out for a good bit. Maybe he rode you out for a minute in the second period and he got a riding time point and you're down. Well, you don't want that to continue because you know the score is 2-1. And if you can get out quickly, then you have more time to work on your feet, which means potentially more opportunities.
No doubt.
Good defense here by Knop. Andy Smith did a good job rolling his head out. 3 takedown for Andy Smith. You know, that was a really good transition by Smith. You know, Knop had great defense. He squared up, he stuffed the head, and as he squared his hips up, Andy Smith was able to react and roll his head to the outside, change the position, and double off and find the score.
Now he's racking up some riding time as well. At the 30-second mark now with a 4-1 lead after the takedown. Smith in the driver's seat. Does Knop have one last final burst in him?
He's got to get out. First thing you got to think about is you can't think about, man, I just gave him a score. You just got to get my next point as soon as possible. That means getting your escape and getting back to your feet so that way you can work.
Again, it's those last critical moments. Knop trying to dig deep. Smith trying to finish it off. He's over the minute threshold for riding time.
Last Granby roll attempt there for Knop. And Andy Smith will finish the match on top.
Smith picks up the victory. The takedown, the big turning point in this match. And the Hokies continue the top team so far in the ACC with another win.
So right here, you see Knop have great defense here. He's able to square his hips up, and notice how Smith is able to roll his head to the outside and double off. That was beautiful. If he wouldn't have rolled his head to the outside, I believe Knop would have been able to defend that successfully, but he did